Hello. It's always a delay, so give me a second once the Facebook finishes loading because it shows me that I'm live before it actually loads. And so then I get like this echo. There it is. Once the Facebook, there's the echo. Always wait for that because I want to see your comments if you're watching on Facebook. And therefore, I'm able to kind of communicate if anybody's on the Zoom or if anybody's on Facebook. But thanks for being here today. Today, we are doing a super simple, super basic, like just talk. It sometimes I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And so it's normal. We're humans. There's so much information out there. And it's actually funny because someone mentioned that not that long ago that like before the internet and before we just had like this massive information of social media and everything like that, you had to kind of like look and research, and it was easier to kind of take in information by pieces because you weren't bombarded by it all the time. Nowadays, I mean, it's just like endless, and you can go into like a vortex and pit of information and kind of just spiral out of control very quickly, which is great. But then sometimes all of that overload can lead to you freezing. It literally can lead to just like, I'm overwhelmed, and now when I'm overwhelmed, I don't want to do anything. I don't have time to do anything. I can't like look anything up, so it's perfectly normal if you're feeling that way. If your eyes are being opened and you're like, oh my God, this is a whole new world. Like, I didn't realize the water. I didn't realize the exercise. I didn't realize the gut. I didn't realize the face. I didn't realize the fragrance. I didn't realize the this and it's just like one thing after another. And you can almost like lose yourself and be like, where do I start? So that is like the whole point of me jumping on here and doing this class today, because I get it. I was there, and it's completely normal. It is 100% okay. I hear you. I see you. I have been you. I have been in your shoes. So I kind of wanted to share a little bit about that. To back up a little bit, my name is Karen, for those of you who might not know who I am, or for anybody who might be watching this recording after the fact. I have been on my wellness journey for not very long, maybe like 4 or 5 years. I still have a lot to learn. I still have a long ways to go. And I actually started in like a really weird spot, if that makes any sense. I was more like earth conscious. That's like the nicest way to like word it. And so my focus was like, how can I reduce my carbon footprint? How can I reduce plastics in my house? I kind of went on like that sense, if that makes any sense. And that's just, I mentioned that because, like different things are going to bring you to this wellness journey and like healthy lifestyle and like awareness journey. And so when I started seeing all of that stuff, I also was really conscious that in the future, I wanted to have kids. And so with that thought, like in my mind, I literally was just like, hey, let's go start using more glass. Let's recycle, like I really did genuinely start on like the hippie green, typical like environmentalist sort of mindset, which is really ironic because somehow that led into me being more aware of other things, because people that are all of the same like mindset kind of tend to share different types of information. And so with that, I also had some like back pain and some other things going on at the same time. And so my friend Jenny, she had been with Young Living and doing the oils and natural living thing for a while. She had gotten a lot of results for her personal journey, which is completely different than mine. So it's not that it didn't resonate with me, but like anything else, when someone tells you something, you're like, yeah, okay, great. I'm happy for you. It doesn't apply to me. You know what I mean? And so it didn't apply to me until maybe like a year or two later, after she'd already been like swapping out all her stuff and doing all these things. And my back pain started getting really, really bad around this time. So I asked her, I was like, what you got for some back pain? And she told me about Valor. She mentioned the raindrop. She mentioned a bunch of other things. And so I started there, then I got my kit, and it kind of just spiraled from there. But I started going to like a handful of classes that were locally, because I was in Virginia at the time. And it's very nice if you're in the Hampton Roads area, because there's a lot of movement, a lot of classes, there's a lot of resources and stuff in that area. You're also kind of like in the South, but not really in the South. So a lot of people are more conscious and aware, and like health is really, really big in that area. So my eyes were kind of opened to like a whole world that I wasn't aware of. But the biggest thing was that when I did start feeling overwhelmed, I had someone from the very, very beginning be like, take it in little chunks, like just take it in little areas. So I wanted to share some tips based on my story, based on where I started and where I am now, that have helped me and that I hope will help you as well. And so again, it's going to be really, really short because I don't want it to be overwhelming. Unless you have questions, then please drop them in the comments. That way I can answer them. But the first thing that I want to recommend is to just pick one thing. And I know that sounds like, what do you mean just pick one thing? Like, listen, compound effect, the law of just one decision, everything adds up. Like, you don't have to get rid of everything. You don't have to do it all at once. Doing one thing a day, a week, a month, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Waiting till the bottle ends, not wanting to throw, whatever makes you feel comfortable. If you make one healthy decision, one better, it doesn't even need to be the best, one better choice a day for you and your family, you will already be moving in the right direction. Like, so just pick one thing. If that one thing is plastics, like it was for me, then great. That's an amazing start. If that one thing is oils, that's on you. That's great. If that one thing is gut health, if that one thing is certain areas of the house, maybe that's where you're starting off and you're saying, hey, I want to get rid of all these chemicals in the house. Where do I start? Pick one room. Pick one area. It honestly is so much easier, and you're not going to notice it at first. I'll be honest. Like, at first you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm not making any progress. But in a very, very short time, you'll realize like, oh wow, I've changed all of my cleaning products in the kitchen. I've changed all of my cleaning products for my face. My family's now using a completely different cleaner for our body wash. Like, everything will slowly add up, and it's not going to feel overwhelming financially as well too, which is another aspect that I think a lot of people get bogged down with maybe, or they think that being healthy or doing like this like wellness, you think it's like bougier, or that they don't deserve it, or that it's more expensive. And it's really not. It is just a mindset shift. And what do I mean by that? I know that I can go to the dollar store and I can get a big old bottle of cleaner for $2-3. That's the reality of it. That big old bottle of cleaner is going to last me X amount of time. A big old bottle of cleaner for those $2-3 is also going to bring a lot of toxic things into my home. But we're talking finances, right? Big old bottle, $2-3 is going to last me however long. I can buy a smaller bottle that's a lot healthier. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm not getting the most bang for my buck because it's more expensive, because this little bottle is now like $10. But what we don't realize is that when things are better, healthier, they're usually more concentrated. What does that mean? So a bottle of Thieves Cleaner is about yay big, 16, 32 ounces, I think is what it is. And you're going to think, I'm going to run through this like in no time. Well, 1 cap is all you're going to use for a 16 32-ounce bottle. That means that this little bottle has now made like 120 bottles. But when you see it, your eyes instantly go, why is that worth that amount? Like, you're literally like changing the way that you shop. You're changing the way that you look at things. And so that's a really, really big thing. And that leads me into the second tip. So first tip, pick one thing, pick one area, pick just one thing, and focus on that, because it will make you feel less overwhelmed. Second tip that I said I was going to roll right into, which is transfer buying. And so what is transfer buying? When you've picked that one thing, so when you've picked that one area, whether that is your way that you eat, whether that is your cleaning products, whether that is just whatever area it is, you've picked your one area. Now you're going to go into transfer buying. What is transfer buying? Changing out the things that you would normally purchase for that area to something that is better alternatives. Remember, like, I want you to keep mindful of the fact that I'm not saying the best alternative, better alternatives. We are not striving for perfection. We are striving for progress. Okay. Like, progress, not perfection. I don't know if you guys have heard that over and over again, but practice makes, and you always think, oh, practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't make perfect. There's a reason why that needs to be like annexed. Practice makes progress. So you want to be moving in the right direction. You don't want to be striving for something that's unattainable. We're not perfect. We never will be. There are going to be things that you're like, hey, balance, man. I just can't give this one thing up, or there isn't a better version of this one thing. Fine. You've given 10 things up, or you've changed 10 things out, or you've made better 10 choices. Why worry about the one? So transfer buying, very easy. There are lists out there. There are things, resources that we can share and stuff like that too. But let's start with like food. There's always a good, better, best. If that makes any sense, right? So organic, it's a good, better option than GMO. That's the truth. It's just a better option. And so maybe you're like, all right, my eggs, they're organic. That is a better option. That is one thing that you are changing, transfer buying over into. Now let's say that, okay, you've been doing this for a while, but now you've learned, oh, maybe there's a difference between free range and grass-fed and all these other things, or getting them directly from a farm. Again, we've made progresses in the right direction. You might not go all the way straight to, you might actually go all the way straight to, like, everybody's got a different gauge, but that's what transfer buying is. It's just swapping out one thing at a time so that you're doing it. If your first thing that you're thinking of is, and I'll give an example for me. Right now, I'm pregnant. I am buying things for our future baby. So what does that mean? I grew up around kids. So in my head, I've got like lists of like brands and names and things that I would normally purchase. I've learned a lot of things about some of those names that I'm not comfortable with anymore, or I've learned certain things about certain ingredients that I'm not comfortable about anymore. So I need diaper rash cream. Here's a brand that I grew up either using, being used on me, or using on someone else, right? Diaper rash cream. Okay, well, that's the option that I had. Transfer buying. Now I see that Seedlings has its own line, or I see that there's a cleaner version maybe on Amazon. Whatever it is, based on my price estimate, there's just so many different things that can be factors in it. But I am now conscious that I've transferred from using this to now using this. And so you want to do that with different areas. Like I said, gut health. You're talking about food that you buy. We're talking about supplements. We're talking about like a whole lot of things going on there as well too. So maybe I just incorporated Ninja. that's all my budget allows for right now. Great. You've hit up multiple areas of your health with just one change, picking one area and transferring into that. We've got tons of resources in the group. I will try to put it in the comments. Sometimes it's weird if it lets me or doesn't let me put it in the comments, but there is a really great like transfer buying sheet that's floating around in our group. And if you're not in the group, then I can send this to you as well. Just shoot me a message, and it'll literally like be like, hey, if you use this, why don't you try this? If you use this, why don't you try that? I personally really, really enjoy following Just Ingredients, I believe is the name. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's your social media. It's hi Kathy, hi Jenny. Just Ingredients, she's on Instagram and I think she's on Facebook. She does have her own company. Again, I don't support or not support or whatever, but I do really enjoy her graphics. And the reason for that is because she quite literally puts, here's an option, here's a better option. Here's an option, here's a better option. And some of her graphics are like, here's an option, here's a good, better, best. It's still on you to look things up. And that'll be like the third area that I talk about as well too, because I do want to give you guys some like very specific things to be mindful of, because I feel like that helps. It's very easy to say, hey, just do these little things, but then you're like, okay, but what am I looking for? So small things. So again, start off with just picking one area. Second thing, transfer buying. Like I said, we'll share some resources in the group. And then if you are watching this after the fact, I'll share some with you later. And then the third thing that I want to, like the third piece of advice that I want to give you is there are certain things that are very easy to start being mindful of now. And so there's certain specific ingredients that will make you more aware. And I'll touch a little bit on each one of them because I think it helps to be like, okay, got it. I have like a starter list of things that I should be avoiding, because now I'm going to the store, I'm going to look at what's a better option, but I'm looking at these ingredient lists and I don't know what the hell any of this means, right? So I have notes. Whew. Okay, so list of items, I'm going to share like 4 or 5 ingredients that are just some, not all of them. They're just some. Again, we're starting off and we don't want to overload, make you feel overwhelmed, right? So these are just some that you want to be mindful of when you are transfer buying, when you're picking one area of your house. And this applies mostly to certain areas of your house, cleaning products, facial, things like that, things that will go directly on your skin. The reason I want to talk about those is because your skin is your biggest organ. And that means that like anything that touches it just seeps right into it. And so that's going like right into your bloodstream. That's going right into your organs. It's affecting a lot of different things, and we don't realize it because does it over a small period of time. So just be mindful of that. But all of these are endocrine disruptors. Sorry. And what does that mean? You're like, so your endocrine system is in charge of balancing your hormones, and it is a very big, I don't want to say filter, but it's a very big system, kind of like your blood. If that makes any sense. Your blood's constantly flowing through, your endocrine system is constantly pumping hormones all through your body. And I want to make sure I like note that when I say hormones, we instantly think like, oh, you mean like happy and emotions. No. Your body needs hormones for a lot of other things, for sleep, for waking up, for digestive, for skin repair. Like, it's our hormones that affect everything. So it's not just like what we think on the top of our head, like, oh, this is what hormones are for. No. So an endocrine disruptor is basically a active agent that can act like a hormone. And so therefore it kind of like throws our body for a loop, because it's trying to mimic, but it's synthetic. It's trying to mimic the hormones that are naturally in our body, but it can actually wreak havoc, because since it's not natural, it's not what our body's used to, it can cause like an opposite or a negative effect. So endocrine disruptors, if you just Google that, endocrine disruptor dangers or endocrine disruptor effects or something like to that nature, if you just put it in Google or DuckDuckGo, because you know some people feel some type of way about the filters and all that other stuff, it can lead to cancerous tumors, birth defects, developmental disorders, and so it's a lot of things, and this is scientifically proven. You can go into PubMed or look into any research and just put endocrine disruptors and see what comes up. So just be mindful of that. And they're found in a lot of things. Just sad to say that, but they're found in a lot of things. Plastics, pesticides, pharmaceutical agents, and household cleaners, or household items. Which is kind of, like I said, remember how I said I started off with plastics? That was wise, because, you know, it was like, hey, plastic is bad for you. Why is it bad for you? Because it can release the toxins, and then that gets into your water, and then the water now is going to cause issues. But I've never heard the word endocrine disruptor. I hadn't heard that plastics, certain plastics, not all plastics, certain plastics can leak BPA and like all this. Again, everybody's wellness journey is different. So with that in mind, I want to start sharing the products, because I don't, again, I want to keep this really short and to not overwhelm you. But SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, very, very common. It is probably like the most common in cleaning products and in hygiene products and in practically everything. Like you will find this everywhere. So soaps, it can cause damage to your skin. It can wreak havoc on your hormones. And it's funny because another use for it is a car grease remover. So you will see sodium lauryl sulfate in all sorts of products, and you're like, why the hell is this in here? It's what gives us bubbles. That's quite literally purpose. So when you're washing dishes, or you're washing your hair, that lather, that bubble stuff, that's sodium lauryl sulfate. So what you're thinking is causing like all this great like feeling of, because, you know, we grew up thinking that that's normal, is actually wreaking havoc on your body. So try to stay clear of that one. This one, I always think it's kind of funny that on this list, because people are like, why the hell would I put that on my body? Formaldehyde. Yeah, exactly. The stuff they embalm people with. It's actually a very common byproduct or ingredient in candles and room sprays. And so you might be thinking, what? That I've never seen, or I've never noticed that in the ingredient list before. Well, the wicks in candles, when they're burned, can cause that as a secondary agent. And so if it's inhaled, it can lead to obviously lung issues. Mind you, this is the same stuff we use to embalm people. So this just like doesn't make any sense, right? But you will see that in there, or you'll see if you do some research, like why is it the lead wicks? Because that's what most wicks are. They're coated with some sort of lead to make them like that. That's the product that, like, that's how they're made. And so it's important to note that not all candles are bad. Disclaimer on that. When I first started, I thought all candles were horrible, but a better option is always a diffuser, because again, it's all natural. You're getting the benefits, and you're not adding toxins to your home. But burning a candle is equivalent to secondhand smoke. So if you're not sitting in a smoking area just sucking in secondhand smoke, you probably shouldn't be doing the same thing with a candle. Just saying. So the next one, and I'm trying to hit on just like those really big ones, because the other ones are kind of like really hard to pronounce. But fragrance. I'm sure by this point, maybe you've already heard that, like, oh, fragrance is bad for you, fragrance this, fragrance that. And you're thinking, okay, but isn't fragrance just like a smell? Yes and no. And I think it's like a slippery slope, right? Because you're like, oh, but oils smell, so isn't that a fragrance? No. The reason that we talk about fragrance is we're talking specifically about the word fragrance. Why? So the word fragrance is an FDA protected word. You might be like, what the fuck do you, like, sorry. What do you mean it's an FDA protected word? So when a company puts out a certain product, they might not want to put all of the ingredients in there because it's a proprietary thing. What does that mean? It means that they own the rights to that and they don't want a competitor or anyone else to duplicate it. Sounds simple, right? Well, they end up hiding a lot of ingredients under the word fragrance because fragrance is their way of saying, hey, this is proprietary and we don't want to share that. And the FDA has backed that. They get it for business purposes. The downside is because they just put the word fragrance out there, they don't need to tell anybody what that is. They don't have to state, they don't have to give an ingredients list. Nobody's checking what fragrance means. And so that's dangerous because you will see a lot of extra ingredients that are being hidden just with the word fragrance. So if you just grabbed anything in your house, if you went to a store and just grabbed anything, you'll see the word fragrance like over and over. Perfume, you'll see that just over and over and over again. It has no limit. You'll find it in baby products, you'll find it in face creams, you'll find it in this, unless it states what the fragrance is. In other words, natural scent from this, natural, that's not fragrance. It's not using the word fragrance. So those are like the three major ones. There is some other not so big ones that I'll just touch on. Phthalates, that's a big thing too, but it's just such a broad word that you're like, it's not an actual like ingredient. Phthalates is just you'd have to look up to see what phthalates are. But be mindful of that. They was a lawsuit years ago because they were found in children's toys, and a bunch of moms won the lawsuit because those toys had phthalates in it and it was causing cancer in kids. And so that was removed, but only in kids' toys. Other plastic and other products didn't have to remove phthalates from there. So you're just like, what do you mean? Makes some sense. 2-butyoxyethanol, you know if I said that right, but it's found in cleaning products, and so it can cause sore throat, narcosis. Have you ever been cleaning something? And I know I remember this from growing up. If I sprayed something, I had to like walk out of the room and give it a second for it to like sit before I continued cleaning, or before, I didn't think anything of it. It's just like a really strong cleaner and it's killing everything. No, it can cause liver damage, lung damage, kidneys. You're taking all of that in, so it's happening. Your body's working overtime to try to process it out, and then it doesn't know how to because it's not natural. So then your body's like freaking out. So, and then alpha terpenoid, benzyl alcohol, and camphor. Those are very common, found in your cleaning products, specifically like laundry. And it's the little things that you start learning on a day-to-day basis. I didn't believe people when they said that, hi, Annalisa, that they said, what's it called? I didn't believe people when they said, oh, a dryer sheets are bad for you. Why? Just look at the ingredients list. Did you know that the ingredients list for dryer sheets is not on the box? So go look at your dryer sheets. It's not on the box. You have to literally go online and look at the list. And even then, it's hard to find. It's not like readily available. Alpha terpenoid, benzyl alcohol, and camphor. The alcohol, I probably have to ask some people to kind of like give me the better name, but there are more natural versions of alcohol. Benzyl alcohol is what you're trying to avoid because of the way that it's created. But these, can be found in dryer sheets, laundry detergent, and it affects your nervous system. So it can cause muscle issues, central nervous system issues, depression, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. Who wants any of that? So be mindful of that. They're just small tips of ways that you can make better decisions for you and your family. When you're choosing a product or when you're doing, remember what I said, good, better, best. When you're going into good, better, best, be mindful that obviously plant-based is good, is better, like, but greenwashing is real. And I think it's really funny because the name says that. You look at something, you're like, oh, it's got to be good. These brands say that they're supposed to be healthier. They have this label on here. Take the extra 2 seconds to look at the actual ingredients in there. There's a lot of brands out there, without like bashing specific ones, because I don't know if that's compliant, to be completely honest. But without like bashing specific ones, there are certain brands that market themselves as a good, better alternative. Remember, they might be good because they're better than the other one, but they might not be better or best because they still have fragrance or they still have this or that. I'm not gonna bash somebody for swapping out from Fabuloso to Method. Like, you're still making progress in the right direction. But if you're doing it just because the commercial said it's supposed to be better, take an extra second and just look at the ingredients. There's a great resource, ewd.gov. There's an app called YUKA, YUKO, YUKO, I think is what the app is. Stink. There's tons of resources out there that are going to help you make better decisions. But do not beat yourself up, and please avoid beating other people up for their choices. We're all striving for progress. We're not striving for perfection. It's unrealistic. DIYs, that's always an option. If you wanted to make it yourself, you're more than welcome to. Some people find it easier to DIY. Other people just want the easy button. No, I just want to buy it already done. Everybody's different. And so whichever one is your better option, search for DIY laundry soap, search for DIY bleach. There's tons of options out there. If not, search for companies that are better. Young Living is one that I genuinely trust very well. Norwex. There's quite a few companies based on different things. It's another one. Beauty Counter. Like, there's a few companies that have very better, good products. And so wherever you're at in your journey, you can look at all these different things. They don't all have to be MLM. They could just be something that you get off. Like, I know tons of people that purchase stuff in Europe because in Europe, the amount of chemicals that are allowed is like thousands that are banned versus the United States that only bans like 50. We're talking thousands to this. Those are huge numbers. And I've noticed it just being out here. Fruit Loops look different here. They don't have all those colors. Why? Because dyes aren't allowed in food. Because it's a serious problem. Like, that causes issues. When you go to buy certain clean products, there's like 50,000 different things on the ingredient list. It's a smaller ingredient list. They might not all be great, but it is a smaller ingredient list. So it's like, doesn't feel overwhelming. So there's things like that. If there's an area that you want to focus on and you're like, okay, but I don't know where to start, what company, what product, what anything like that, that's what we're here for. We are here to lift each other up, and we are here to help each other so that you don't feel overwhelmed, because it can be. Like, that's the truth. It can be overwhelming at first. Like, I didn't focus on my gut health until 3 years into this journey. Everybody has a different place that they want to start. That's perfectly okay. That's perfectly normal. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, swapping, healthier living, making healthier choices. All of these decisions shouldn't be complicated. Yeah, so there you go. What Jenny said, any companies and brands mentioned in this group have been vetted and have the same ethic standards as Young Living, which is Seed to Seal, which is a great thing for you to look up. You can literally, what is it, seedtoseal.com. and it'll give you like all of the information. I just know, pick one area, transfer buying, and avoid the list of things that I mentioned at the very end. If you have any questions, you know where to find us, reach out, whoever shared this video with you, whoever added you to the group, or if you're seeing this first time and you don't have anything, this is just something, somehow this ended up on your feed, shoot me a message, make a comment, whatever it is that you decide to do. So I hope this was beneficial, and I hope that it helped give you kind of like a starting point. And if you have any questions, let me know. I will be seeing you guys later. So bye.